so surprised. Haven't you seen it in my eyes? Oh, I'm running, what am I running from? Time's going by, but where's the time going? I tried to give you everything, you took it all and took it for granted. If you're still falling out of love, maybe it's 'cause I'm not enough.
Nothing could have prepared me for the high stakes heartbreak that surrounds me. You want me, you won't let me go. So I burn slow. I can feel you coming like a wildfire. I'm just the fuel, baby, you're the light. If I'm not careful, you'll burn right through my soul. Burning like a wildfire, dying on myself. Demons unleashed from your mind hold me steady, yeah. 'Cause you want me, you won't let me go. So I burn slow. I can feel you coming like a wildfire. I'm just the fuel, baby, you're the light. If I'm not careful, you'll burn right through my soul. Burning like a wildfire. Careful, you'll burn right through my soul. just the fuel, baby, you're the lighter. If I'm not careful, you burn right through my soul, burning like a wildfire, dynamizer.
Gone somewhere and dyed my hair now. Wanna be alone. It's much to bear and you don't care, and I won't play alone. I got you in my sight. I keep all the words you said to me. I'll get you, get you, get you, get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, get you, get you. Now you beg me, please. Hey. Now I stay away. You were never meant to save me. Now I stay away. I'll hear say you're sorry. Hate I even loved you. Hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I kinda fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I kinda fell in love with you. With you, I cried with you. Now wanna be alone. I lied for you, I tried for you. You wouldn't play alone. I got you in my sight. I keep all the words you said to me. I'll get you, get you, get you, get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, get you, get you. Now you beg me, please. Hey. Now I stay away. You were never meant to save me. Now I stay away. I'll hear say you're sorry. Hate I even loved you. Hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I kinda fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I kinda fell in love with you.
Shadows on the walls of your skin. I can tell you're lying from the way you're breathing. Shadows on the walls of your sin. Why do I keep trying when I know I can't win? You crystallize, they crystallize me. I'm paralyzed, you crystallize me. You crystallize, they crystallize. 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 Why do I keep paralyzed, you crystallize. Shadows on the walls of your paralyzed, you crystallize me. You crystallize. Shadows on the walls of your skin. You crystallize, they crystallize me. Shadows on the walls of your sin. I'm paralyzed, you crystallize me. You crystallize, they crystallize me. Crystallize me. Why do I keep shadows on the walls of your Why do I keep I'm paralyzed, you crystallize me. You crystallize, they crystallize me.
goes like. Then it goes like.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another live stream here on the Speed Force Racing League channel. Today we will be racing on Singapore, as it is going to be season 15, round 7 of the calendar. We will be racing in Div 2 today, which is always going to be the tier that I'm commentating on. But I hope you guys are going to be enjoying this live stream. As you can see, the quality of the camera is not great, but the quality of the live stream should be better. There should also not be any lags or anything, as I'm connected to my cable internet through my PC. So hopefully it should be a little better. I really hope it is. Yeah, I hope you guys can enjoy from the same quality that I'm enjoying right now. Of course, the camera quality is a little bit less. The problem there was when I plugged in my camera, well, my external camera. I had some very big issues regarding freezes, lagging out because I use this adapter, and when I put too many data through the adapter, everything freezes, so it all lags out. So also the stream lags out, the camera lags out, my controller lags out, everything lags out. So the best solution I found is just use the internet cable and the controller cable, and then my camera on the other hand, on the other side, and then I shouldn't have problems. This is my laptop's camera, obviously not the best. I'm also in a very dark environment, so the lighting is definitely not great, but hopefully we can work with this, and I hope you guys don't mind it too much. I don't see many people in the lobby, in the live stream yet, but that shouldn't matter too much. I'm just gonna have a quick look to my notification, as I was having a quick look in the Speed Force Racing League chat. There we go. Okay, guys, make sure to join the league too if you haven't joined the league already. They're great guys, they're great people, and great racers. So Div 1 is, I think, on Tuesday. Div 2 is on Mondays, which is today, of course. And we've got a couple of guys out already. There's 17 people in the lobby, which is obviously very great. A lot of very competitive guys on the grid today. And hopefully they're going to be able to put something great here in Singapore, one of the nicer tracks on the calendar, I must say. Some very good corners, some very good overtaking corners. Definitely in Sector 1, where you do have that corner section with turn 1, 2, and 3. Very good overtaking opportunity also through this corner, where you can easily throw a dive bomb and force the guy a little bit wider. And then also coming through Sector 2, you got some overtaking opportunities. We've got Jonas again in the chat. Welcome, mate. He says, let's go Tashkern aka Mr. Lucky Strike. So hopefully he's going to put a good performance in for Mr. Jonas. As I'm not sure if he's in, actually. Where is he? Oh, there he is in P5 in the Williams team. So he is going to be... What does OWR stand for, actually? Because I've seen many people, including Harry Kane, run OWR in their name. I think it's something, isn't it something Scandinavian kind of something? Because all the Norwegian people have it. I have no idea. Here comes Cass. But we're gonna focus on another person's fast lap, as I kind of missed this one already. So we will be focusing on another one later. But right now, Cass, on a fast lap, he's got his teammate right behind him, and I'm not sure if he's giving him a tow down the straight, or if they're not really working together. They are pretty close to each other, and I'm pretty sure Cass is the slower one out of the two. But he seems to be on a fast lap right now, as he's coming into Sector 2. Going through that fast section here. Very difficult one. You need to nail the curbs as much as possible, but also make sure you don't spin out. And then you've got, of course, this slow left-hander, kind of a U-turn. Not really a U-turn, it's kind of a... Well, it is kind of a U-turn, a hair clip, kind of something. And then we've entered Sector 3 here with gas. Not a very difficult sector, obviously, because they kind of removed that tunnel section. You used to be going through to the left here and then back to the right. And then back to the right and back to the left. But that is been removed. Unfortunately, I kind of like that part of the track. It was kind of a good one where you could have some clean, good racing. Skaz puts himself in P2, right behind Alex with only 200s from each other. I don't think Magi was on a fast lap. He is right on the tail of his teammate, and Yaz also already goes... Ooh, that's interesting. I thought he was his teammate. I thought he would have given him a little tow. OWR is a Norwegian racing league. That explains it. Calvin Racing puts himself on pole for tonight. Well, for now, a 130.3. Not bad at all. But we might want to go on board with someone who's going to start this lap that is not Shaggy, as he's currently in P6. Mindful was with a 130.3, only 300s away from Calvin Racing. So the guys are definitely coming across the line. Also, Energy Dan on a fast lap at the moment. Old Walker Racing is what it's called, apparently. Seems to be quite a familiar... Oh, Tashkern puts himself on pole for now. 130.2, not a bad lap at all. So you might want to go on board with Energy Dan. Puts himself in P3. Not a bad lap from Dan at all, especially with such great drivers on the grid right now. Magi is being followed by an Aston Martin driver. That might be Mark Werty, or that might be Alex Hawk. But he's coming through Sector 3, going down that fast right-hander, and then going through a fast left-hander. Make sure you don't touch the curb too much on the entry, because that can be very, very venomous, and it can put you in the wall. Puts himself in P5. Magi with a 130.9, as we've got yellow flags in Sector 2. That might be the AlphaTauri driver letting through the Williams driver, but I think that is Tashkar, and he's not on a fast lap. We might want to go on board with MCFC and have a quick analysis of the track. So coming around the last corner, full throttle. Now we're going to go down that fast straight lane. Well, actually all straights are fast. Coming through turn 2, through turn 3, kind of a slow turn 3. You might be able to throw it down the inside there. Coming through turn 4 is going to be a fast right-hander. You want to touch that curb as much as possible down the entry. You've got another DRS section here. Coming through turn 5, turn 6, fast left-hander. You do need to touch the brakes a little bit. Goes too wide. I think that might be an invalidation. It is not, apparently. MCFC was not allowed to race last week, but he is this week, so hopefully he's going to give some redemption power, I don't know, in his car. And he's coming through turn 8. Ooh, and that is going to be an invalidation. Turn 9 is also a very difficult one. Was a little bit too deep there, and I think he had boarded his lap through turn 10, 11, and then we've got turn 12. Just going to be that slow left-hander, which we talked about earlier. And another DRS straight. It's not a very long one, so you won't be able to benefit from that DRS usage. Well, you will be able to get a little bit closer down this straight once again. I don't think this is a DRS detection point. I don't think so. As you do have another DRS, well, another straight, and then you're coming through that fast right-left section. Well, not really that fast. It's only through third, through fourth, and then you've got that last 2 corner sections. You know, a lap around Singapore must be very smooth. It must be very good to be, you know, a good lap on the board. And you see drivers like Mindful Wasp, he's more of a consistent guy, but I'm not sure, you know, he's more of a consistent guy, so I think he will be able to do great during the race. But drivers like, you know, Energy Dan, he's also very consistent, but he could, well, actually he got a P3, I think, last week, so that is great. In Baku, he did a great race. But usually his races are, you know, 1 lap faster, 1 lap slower, 1 lap he gets overtaken, the other one he makes the overtake again, and just up and down racing. And that's not really what you need in Singapore. It needs to be smooth, it needs to be consistent. One little mistake, you can end up in the wall, you can break a wing. We are going to be seeing a lot of broken wings here today. This is actually Monaco, but sped up. It's like a fast Monaco, a longer Monaco, all that kind of stuff. It's very dangerous. Well, it's actually a fast Monaco. Monaco is a little bit more corners. This is just Monaco with straights. You do have a lot of, like, you know, corners and walls on the entries and the exits, and we're definitely gonna be seeing more than 5 people come into the pits to change wings. We are with 17, so that is almost 30%. 33, I must say. It's around 30. So, yeah, I think we're gonna be seeing many wings, but that is for later. Utgars is on a fast lap on the soft tires, the Williams driver. Apparently, I got the confirmation that he's Indian and not British. I always thought he was British. I think he even told me that he was British when I was doing, well, back when I was doing the charts and everything. But it seems like Cassidy puts himself on pole for now. The Red Bull driver put himself in P1 with a 130.0, and it seems like Utgars has got that AlphaTauri right in front of him. That might have been Mr. Energy Dan, who was on an outlap, so he just came out of the pits. He's also got a Haas driver right behind him. As Utgars now in a fast lap, coming around the last couple of corners to claim a possible podium. Well, a podium in the qualifying. Coming around the last corner, 130.5 will be good for a P7. Almost managed to beat Alex Hawk. And then we've got Mansell coming across the line to put a P6. Apparently, diff 1 pace on this one is what Preben Jensen says. Yeah, so these guys definitely, you know, in Speed Force Racing, halfway through the season, or like past a couple of races, I think it's like 6 or 8, they do a little bit of a switch between the grids. So a couple of drivers, including Tashkern, including, I think, Alex Hogg, but I could be wrong, including Shaggy, if I'm not mistaken, they all came from Div 1 to Div 2. And then, of course, we have Noldus, we have Adams, and who else did go up? Oh, Sonic Hawk went up to Div 1, and they're going to try and battle with those guys there. So it's kind of to equal the grid a little bit, to equal the kind of performances that we have. You see Tashkern being able to compete with the top guys. Alex Hawk somewhere in the middle, battling with Mansell. Utgars currently in the qualifying. And we've got Shaggy battling with Matt G. So there's definitely some similarities on the grid, pace-wise. And I do think that there's some similarities in driving styles, too. I would say Mansell is a little bit like Alex Hawk. I would say Tashkern is a little bit like Energy Dan. These guys are a little bit more patient. Tashkern is definitely not gonna, well, from the race I've seen last week, he's definitely not gonna take the risk. He's not gonna make any unnecessary moves or anything like that. As Energy Dan comes around the last corner, is he gonna put himself on pole? No, not quite yet. He did improve by 1/10 though. He's gonna put himself on 2. Energy Dan has found his pace. He has found the right setups. I don't know what he's done. He might have bought a new wheel. He's just flying out there at the moment. P2. And to think about that, he was not able to qualify in the top 10 a couple of weeks ago. He's now in P2. And last season, in season 14, he wasn't there. You know, he wasn't in the top 10 qualifying wise, though. Make sure to keep that in mind. Qualifying wise, he wasn't always in the top 10, but he managed to fight his way through the field. And that's the consistency that he needs in this season too. And I didn't see that quite often at the beginning of the season, which we did see during season 14. But now it seems like it's the qualifying has shifted. Well, the consistency pace has shifted to getting a good qualifying position and then try to keep that position throughout the field. Well, throughout the race. We've seen it last week where he was battling a couple of guys for the top 3. I can't quite remember who it was. I think it was Mansell. No, Mansell got the race win by quite a bit. I think it was Mindful Wasp and Calvin Racing. I couldn't quite remember who it was. But he was also battling Ellie. Ellie, who was... I think Energy Dan had a penalty. No, was it Mansell who had a penalty? I don't know. It was one of those two who had a penalty. And then unfortunately, you know, Energy Dan, he managed to create a 3-second gap to the guys behind him. But it was not good enough to catch either P2 or P1. But he's done an amazing job getting a P3 last week. And now coming back into the pits, we've got an Aston Martin driver coming around the last corner. That might be Alex. And that is indeed going to be Alex. Not up on his time, though. 2.8 seconds slower. So I think he's drained all of the ERS he had. Isn't going to go fast through turn 1, I think. He has still a lot of ERS saved, so he might be on a fast lap at the moment. Still 4 more minutes on the timetable, as he's got a Haas driver right in front of him. That might be Mansell on a fast lap, as he's on an out lap, as he's the only Haas driver on the grid at the moment. We do only have one McLaren driver. We only have one Alpine driver, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that should be it. So we've got one Alpine missing, one McLaren missing, and one Haas missing. And those are going to be the guys that are not going to be battling for the Constructors, which you will be able to see in the Constructors Championship. Oh my days. Alex Hogg now on a fast lap coming through turn 9, 8, I think that is. This is 10. Then we've got 11 and 12, which is going to be that slow left-hander. And, you know, a couple of guys, they've got some pace around here. We do see some battles for, you know, the top position. Maggi, who came across the line with a 130.2, only 2 tenths away from Cassidy. Energy then 1.5 tenths away. You've got Tashkern, who's only 5 thousandths away from Maggi's time. Mindful Wasps followed closely behind as Calvin Racing is the only one who is in a 129 point something at the moment. This is going to be a 129.9 for Calvin Racing, who put himself on pole for now. But I'm not sure what Alex is going to be doing. I don't think he's on a fast lap. He's 1 point. No, he's not on a fast lap. He's coming back into the pits, isn't he? No, he's going to go for another one on the set of softs. Not sure if that is the best way to go for the Aston Martin. But he's going to go for it anyway. He still has a lot of ERS saved. So let's see if that is going to be a good chance for him. He's only in P8. He's about, you know, 6 tenths behind Calvin Racing on old soft tires. I don't think he'll be able to beat that time, especially after his, you know, his previous lap was on fresh softs. So coming down that fast main straight into turn 6, we've got Alex Hogg with the fastest first sector. Is this going to be an improvement on his time? Is this going to be an improvement on the pole time from Calvin Racing? Coming around turn 7, that is, into turn 8. Or is that turn 9? I have no idea. I need to look that up. Touches the corner quite nicely there. Alex Hogg might be up for a pole time here tonight in Singapore, as the Aston Martin driver comes around turn 12, takes that corner beautifully. Does go very slow onto the throttle though. He's got that Mercedes driver on the inside. Makes enough room for him to get past. Up on his time, 81 thousandths, as that will put him not with an improvement, but it will be improving his time, not an improvement in positions. And the only section where he can improve, Mansell with a 129.9. He's beaten Calvin Racing. And I don't think Calvin Racing will have the chance to come across the line anymore. He's in the pits too. Alex improved by 1.8 tenths. But it's not gonna be an improvement in positions. Calvin retired from the session already, as the only one who's gonna be able to improve is Cassidy, up on his time by about 1 tenth coming through sector 1. And this will be a pole time from the Red Bull driver. Mansell will find himself in a Red Bull sandwich if Cassidy keeps on driving this kind of pace. He goes a little bit deep in through that corner. He might have made a little mistake there. But he's definitely pushing. Coming around the last couple of corners of Sector 2. Then down that DRS straight. Is he improving through Sector 2? I'm not 100% sure. I think he missed his lines a little bit. Up on his time, 1.8 tenths. That will definitely put him on pole. A little bit more pushiness here through Sector 3 will secure that pole time. The only driver who's going to be able to beat that time is, I think, Energy Dan or Tashkern, if it can find the pace here around Singapore. Cassidy now coming around the last corner. What will it be for the Red Bull driver? A 129.8 is improving by 2 tenths to put himself on pole for now. The qualifying has ended already, so Cassidy will just have an in-lap for now. Energy Dan, is he improving on his time? Coming around Sector 2 at the moment. He is improving 3 tenths. That will be a possible pole position for Energy Dan. No pressure on the shoulders. Well, all the pressure on his shoulders. But we try to not give him too much pressure. Maybe he can give He can get some slipstream from the guy ahead. He's gonna go wide. Energy Dam might have caught off guard. Oh, I think that was a little lag from my part of the live stream. Thought he was going into the wall there. 129.8. Oh, such a close qualifying. 45 thousandths from Cassidy. And Mansell coming into the pits. Energy Dam managed to get in between the Red Bulls and the Haas driver. As Tashkern put himself in P5. No, he's not. Mindful Wasp came out of nothing. We did not expect the Wasp to put himself on pole, but he did. A 129.5 by quite a big margin, I must say, 3/10. So it is going to be Cassidy finding himself in an AlphaTauri sandwich, as that is going to be giving some great sparks during that battle. We've got AlphaTauri, we've got Red Bull, we've got the Haas driver. Mansell is the only Haas driver, unfortunately. Now we've got the Williams, and you know, I don't want to say anything, but Ellie, she's been splendid last couple of weeks, and today she's only a P13. So unfortunately, she's not able to continue the qualifying pace that she had last couple of weeks, but she might be bringing that pace from last week through the race back into Singapore tonight. We do have a couple of guys coming into the pits. Cassidy is the only one still on track. He's not allowed to retire on track, if I'm not mistaken. So he's coming back into the pits. He's going to park his car. He should actually come across the line. Then the qualifying will be over faster. But look at those tires, mate. Those tires are completely gone. And starting on the softs is definitely not the right way to go here around Singapore. As he's coming into the pits, retire from the session. And that will be your qualifying here in Speed Force Racing. I'm just going to blow my nose. I'm just going to drink a little bit of water. Oh, welcome, Martin. I didn't see you. I thought you were one of the Danish guys. The Norwegian guys. Oh, I shouldn't say they're Danish. Alright, well, let's focus on this one first. Let me have a quick look if I can remove the camera. Yes, I can. There we go. So we have got the standings for now. Mindful Wasp put himself on pole by quite a big margin, 2.2 tenths. Cassidy in P2 and Energy Dan in P3. Further, we've got Mansell, Kelvin Racing, Tashkern, Utkarsh, Magi, Alex Hawk, and Mr. Wiggles in the top 10. And further, we've got the V-Car, Shaggy, Ellie, MCFC, Guess, Mark, and Gox all the way at the back of the grid. He didn't put a qualifying lap in. That usually indicates that he had a qualifying ban, but we don't know that for sure. I'm just gonna I can't be Norwegian. Martin. Well, I'm pretty sure you can be anything. That's not meant in a bad way, by the way. Just gonna blow my nose, guys, and I'll be back in a second. I'll remove my, I enable my camera again. Because otherwise I can be a Viking for sure. Well, there used to be English Vikings, wasn't there? Or were they Irish? I don't know. Well, I'm gonna blow my nose first, guys. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna listen to the quality of the live stream. Uno momento. Should be all good though. I'm still wondering if you're able to see this thing in 720 frames per second. Apparently it's 480. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense. Why is it at 480? At what kind of quality can you guys see this live stream? If you don't mind me asking. Can you guys let me know, please? Gox has not been racing qualifying for the season, wondering why. Oh, right, Braben, I totally forgot about that. I think he's not gonna give up until he has a last to first challenge. I'm pretty sure he's got nothing to lose anyway. I'm very excited to see what kind of strategies the guys will be using. We've got a formation lap first, so we will be able to analyze everything. Tire-wise, ooh, we see one mistake. One driver who made a mistake. Shaggy starting on the softs. Obviously, if he makes it work, he's a genius. If he doesn't make it work, he's an idiot. But yo, Smoke, how are you doing, mate? I'm glad you're here, mate. So a couple of guys starting on the hards in the top 3. We've got Mansell in P4, starting on the medium, so he's definitely looking to gain some positions here. Calvin Racing in P5, Tashkern on the mediums in P6, Utkarsh on the hards, and we've got Maggi on the medium. So we've got a little bit of a switch between the hards and the mediums and the hards and the mediums, all the way to P9. And we've got Mr. Wiggles on the hards, and then another guy on the mediums. That is going to be the Vigar. Shaggy on the soft, so he's looking to gain some positions, but the softs only last for about 5 or 6 laps. So starting on the softs is not usually a great way to start your race, or you know something that we don't know about a safety car that is going to be there. Nevertheless, you know. Hards for Ellie, MCFC, Mark Querty, and Gox, and then we've got Gas on the mediums. Welcome everyone in the chat. Yo, it's a little bit crowdy in the chat, guys. I really appreciate that. Noldus, how are you doing, mate? How are you doing? I think your girlfriend is racing, isn't she, Ellie? And I was gonna ask you something last week in DMs. I'm not saying that Ellie is not able to perform a P2, but I was really wondering whether you were racing for her on her account. I really was. You know, P13 in a qualifying, you know, and then seeing her being in P2 last week, which was a great accomplishment. You know what I mean? You know, something doesn't make sense. Doing good. Yes, she is. Ah, there we go. So, Expert Tashkern on top. Apparently, according to Daniel. Tashkern on top. That is a bold statement. He's in P6 on the mediums. And he got a disqualification. A lot of guys with a disqualification. Look at that. All right, we're currently in Speed Force Racing. We're in season 15, round 7 of Singapore tonight, as we've got 5 red lights, and away we go. A pretty good start from Cassidy, as he's trying to... No, pretty bad start, I must say. He's almost getting overtaken from Energy Dan there. Mansell trying to go down the inside. The Red Bull driver going a little bit wide. Tashkern still on the tail of the Red Bull driver. Here comes Tashkern on the tail of Calvin Racing, but he's not able to make the overtake, as we might want to go on board with some guys at the front here. Dan on the tail of Cassidy's not close enough, though. Mansell might be up for a move up into P3. Is that going to be an opportunity for Mansell? No, he's not going to go for it. The top 4 stays the same for now. Calvin Racing up into P5. Tashkern stays in P6, as there is some close battling here in the top 4. Mansell on the tail of Dan, as he's got the slipstream at the moment. A little bit of an ERS opportunity there for the Haas driver, as they're now coming through the fast part of the track. So it's definitely not a good overtaking opportunity through there, maybe through turn 12, as you can easily make a dive bomb. The Red Bull driver was looking for it, but he didn't choose to do so. Not many position changes. Utkarsh on the tail of Maggi, as we've got a little bit of a group forming here for P8 all the way to P1. As we might want to have a quick look with the position changes. Not too many position changes, actually. Shaggy only lost 5. And apart from that, we don't see many big changes, if I'm being honest. 2 positions gained for Gox, 2 for Gas, 1 for Ellie, 1 for Maggi, and then Utkarsh is the only one who lost 1 position. We might want to go on board with Mansell here again, trying to make something work. Mindful was with the fastest lap for now. We don't see those medium tires pay off yet, but that might be later during the race. Well, not really that much later, because the mediums should be a little bit faster right now. Mansell on the tail of Energy Dan. We've got those mediums going against the hard tires of Dan. Mansell with a good exit coming through turn 4. Might be up for a move. He's going to use some ERS. Down the inside he goes. Dan tries to defend the inside line, but it is Mansell who's going to go for a move up the inside. He's pushing Dan a little bit wide, and he gets spun. He gets spun, or he spins himself. That could be 2, but it was a very unrealistic move for Mansell through that part of the track, because, you know, there's not much room down the inside, and especially when you're not the first car through that part of the track, you can easily get spun around, and he goes into the wall. Broken front wing possibly for the Haas driver, as he's now going in reverse. Make sure you don't crash your rear wing too. And the top 3 remains unchanged. And then we've got Tashkaren gaining 2 positions. We must have missed that overtake on Calvin Racing while we were watching Mansell spin out. As I think Tashkaren is up into P4. 2 positions gained, but I think he's also on the medium tires, isn't he? Yes, indeed he is. Trying to make... He's now the one on the medium tires trying to make the overtake on Energy Dan. And will this be an opportunity for the Williams driver? Definitely trying to find his way through the field, as I think there is a 1.3 second gap from P3 to P2 already. So Dan will unfortunately not be having the DRS, and I think he got a track warning there too. And now this is Tashkaren opportunity. We will have the DRS as we're already in lap 3. And Energy Dan will not have the DRS. I think Mindful Wasp is pulling away from Cassidy. Even on those hard tires, he still has the pace. Here we go. Tashkaren making the same overtake, and he's not going to go for it. He knew that Mansell made the same overtake and did not make it work. Energy Dan does not give room through that part of the track, as he shouldn't, because it's his corner when he's around the outside and he's in front of the Williams driver. Now here comes Tashkaren with another opportunity. He's not going to go for it here. I once had an overtake here down the inside. I unfortunately spun out the guy on the outside, and I got a penalty for that, so I will never make the same mistake. But here comes Tashkaren. A good line through turn 12 will definitely give him the opportunity through that straight line, but it will not be this time around, as he has a lot of ERS saved, but he doesn't choose to use it. With a good part of this track, well, with a good. Oh, here comes Utkarsh around the outside of Match. He had an excellent exit coming through turn 12 and makes the overtake up into P6 again. As I think we will be having an opportunity here. Tashkaren on the tail of Energy Dan. He's lifting a little bit there. I don't think you need to lift all the way through that part of the corner. But Utkarsh now with the fastest lap, 134.1. He's definitely pushing, trying to create some kind of gap behind him on Matt G. And he made the overtake too with the use of DRS. So, you know, that DRS usage is definitely going to give him some opportunities. Ellie currently in P13 on the tail of MCFC though, and I'm really wondering whether MCFC is going to keep it clean this time around. We've seen some incidents happening with him and some other drivers in the past, but for now it seems to be all good. Ellie on the tail, so she does need to watch out, but I don't think that will be a problem for Ellie. She's been able to keep it clean last week, and if she can keep that cleanless throughout the field today, she might be able to enter that top 10. And then we will be seeing a very happy watcher in the chat. Noldus, of course. Gox also trying to find his way through the field. 3 positions gained. Almost the most positions gained, as Gas is currently the one with 4 positions gained. He does have a gap to make up for 1.6 seconds. But I think Gas is, you know, he doesn't really have the pace to make up for that kind of gap. Mr. Wiggles definitely has some slipstream right now from his teammates, some DRS. So I think there will be a little bit of a DRS train from P8 to P10. And Alex Hawk definitely has the pace to bring these guys back to the top field. Currently going on board with Tashkaren. Once again, another opportunity, a DRS opportunity. Will he be using ERS? He's definitely going very smart with his ERS at the moment. Still has 55%. How much does Energy Dan have left? He's got 36% on average. And he's still able to keep up with Cassidy. Cassidy, who's got some troubles keeping the toe of the AlphaTauri driver in P1. So Mindful was definitely looking at a great performance at this point at the during the race. Shaggy, I think he already came into the pits, or his soft tires are definitely not paying off. But he's currently in P15. Lost 3 positions while being on the softs. So this is not a great strategy by Shaggy, as we said at the beginning of the live stream already. We've got Tashkaren on the tail of Energy Dan. Totally missed that. We might go into broadcast mode again. But broadcast mode is a little bit difficult around Singapore because there's a lot of walls, and you know, sometimes the camera is in front of the wall and all that kind of stuff. Well, the wall is in front of the camera. Well, that the camera is in front of the wall, that's quite obvious. Well, I mean, we've got a 5-way, 6-way battle here for P2. Cassidy currently in P2, didn't gain a single position, neither did Dan. Then we've got Tashkaren with a mission, currently gained 2 positions, 5 tenths behind Energy Dan. We've got Calvin Racing, didn't gain a single position. Then, of course, Utkarsh and Magi both gained 1 position. They're now on the tail of each other. Utkarsh, I mean, 4 tenths behind Calvin Racing. He's definitely gonna try and get his way into the top 5, trying to be behind his teammate. Utkarsh, I would say, is the faster one out of those two. So I'm not sure if Tashkern is gonna let his teammate go through if the time is there, but I do think Tashkern is running in the mediums, and I think Utkarsh is running the hard, so they will definitely be running a different strategy here today. Energy Dan still in P3. We might want to go to the back of the grid again later on if the guys are having a heated battle with each other. Mr. Wiggles still on the tail of his teammate. As I feel like Mr. Wiggles has not done as many practice as the other guys on the grid. Mr. Wiggles used to be the one battling with Mindful Wasp. And you see where the difference in pace is tonight. Mindful Wasp in P1. Mr. Wiggles only in P10. I remember it quite well. Hungary last season, they were battling for a race win. I think was it Japan? It kind of was Japan, wasn't it? Where Mindful Wasp had that fuel difficulty, where he kind of gave away his race win due to not having enough fuel. And I think, if I remember quite well, Mr. Wiggles was the one running away with that race win, but I could be totally wrong. But Mr. Wiggles was definitely battling with Mindful Wasp. And as you can see, you know, there's a 9 position difference, and that shouldn't be. If you're running the same pace, one is going way slower, one is going way faster. Maybe it's not a strike, but we've seen the same result from Mr. Wiggles week in, week out. He's currently in P9. I feel like he's not having the right flow at the moment. I'm not gonna say he's slow, because obviously he's way faster than me. He just doesn't find the right flow. Look at that, 1.6 seconds behind Alex Hawk. He kind of lost that time battling with his teammate, and you know, that's quite unfortunate, because he's a very fast driver. He's got some potential. Currently only in P9. He can do definitely better. Calvin Racing on the tail of Tashkern, 2 tenths. It's definitely going to be an overtake opportunity. Tashkern touches the curb, makes a little mistake. DRS opportunity for Calvin Racing. Will use the ERS. He's going around the outside. If he is in front of the Williams driver, he will make the overtake work, and he does indeed. DRS to the rescue for the Red Bull driver as he moves a position up. Tashkern almost goes into the wall there. And what will the strategy be for the Williams team right now? I feel like the medium tires are already giving up. As you can see, Tashkern having a slip every now and then, coming through turn 5, coming through turn 6. It's not going to be playing in his advantage right now if he keeps up Utkarsh. I feel like Utkarsh can do way more on the hard tires at this point during the race, trying to keep the toe of the Red Bull driver in front of them. And then Tashkern can just benefit from the slipstream and the DRS from his teammate. But it seems like they're keeping the same positions for now, so I'm really wondering how that's going to play out at the end of the race when they have both come into the pits. Utkarsh currently in P6. He's right behind his teammate. Oh, Cassidy goes into the wall. He has a broken front wing, doesn't he? Oh, he doesn't have broken. That is very rare. How did he not get a broken front wing there? Oh, Cassidy, what are you doing, mate? Oh, that is so unfortunate. How many positions did he lose doing that? Just come back on track, mate. You're ghosted anyway. It would be funny to see him crash very aggressively there. Ooh, and the Williams team. Like I said, you're not able to keep the toe because Tashkern is on those old mediums, and his teammate, Utkarsh, is just trying to battle his way around his teammate. I don't think Tashkern is using the right strategy. I don't think he is. Let your teammate go through. Let him catch the slipstream of Calvin Racing. Look at this. Calvin Racing made up a gap of 1.3 seconds already, and it's not enough for Tashkern. He just doesn't have the tires, or he needs to push, and, it's going to be a little risky for Tashkern. Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I mean, fair enough, Smoke, but you're ghosted anyway, so instead of losing that many positions, why would you make a safe Yeah, fair enough, I get you. But it's league racing, and you're ghosted. It doesn't matter, right? You're not gonna get a penalty for just going back on track. Well, he might get a penalty if, let's say, someone is coming through that last corner. They see a car on the track. They go, oh shit, there's a car. Ew, and they are going into the wall. I don't know. And then there's Cassidy like, oh, it's in the rules? Ah, fair enough. I didn't say anything, guys. It is not allowed. Well done, Cassidy. I've not said anything. Calvin Racing now on the tail of Energy Dan. Here he is. DRS opportunity for the Red Bull once again. But he's just not close enough. He's just not close enough. I think Energy Dan is also doing a splendid job of keeping that Red Bull behind him, because now Mindful Boss is able to create some kind of gap. Tashkern once again doesn't let his teammate go through. Utkarsh must be frustrated at this point during the race. You cannot be racing like this as teammates. I feel like oh wait, the V-car on the tail of Mr. Wiggles again. And Gogs making the overtake on Ellie. Ellie going around the outside here. A heavy battle between those two. The two back markers. But they're definitely having a heated and a beautiful battle between those two. I think Ellie might be up for a move again through this part of the track. Almost goes into the back of the Red Bull of the Mercedes driver. My apologies, Red Bull. What am I saying? Coming through the path. Yeah, she will have the DRS. And they're definitely catching up to MCFC. Look at how close Ellie is at the moment. She lost some time touching that curb on the entry. And a little bit of an awkward line coming through that part of the track due to dirty air. So that is also something the guys have to keep in mind. Brake a little earlier, because you're gonna have a dirty air. And when you have dirty air, as you can see in turn 12, they just went straight, both of them. And Gogs had dirty air from MCFC. Ellie had dirty air from Gogs. That is just how it plays out. Shaggy now in the tail of the Aston Martin driver at the back of the grid. And, ooh, a good line from Shaggy there, but got hold up by Mark Querty. I do think he has the opportunity to make the overtake. And Gogs, he crashed, probably with an incident with Ellie. And now Mark Querty goes into the wall. There might be a broken front wing. I think Gogs, he went off track coming through the fast part of that last sector. Might want to go on board with Calvin Racing again. But I was saying something. I couldn't quite remember what I was saying. Well, doesn't really matter, guys. Doesn't really matter. Utkarsh, I mean, you cannot be serious. I do think he's going to be frustrated. Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to say. These guys remind me of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. It was it 2016? It was probably 2016, or was it 2014? No, 2014 was when Vettel won. I think 2016 was when Rosberg won, wasn't it? I think it was. I mean, he managed to catch up again. So Tashkern doing a great job getting back, and I think Utkarsh is kind of losing a toe of Tashkern right now. So was Tashkern saving some ERS? That could be the case. That could be the case. Saving some ERS and then it doesn't make sense, because he would have drained it all again to catch up to the Red Bull driver. I will never understand the mind of a racing driver, but not all racing drivers are the same. I'm probably one of the most lenient and the most joyful drivers around the field. I just let everyone go through if they respect me on the track. If they're faster, I don't care, just go through. And if it's someone that I'm battling with, I'm always making a joke trying to put them off. It doesn't always pay off, because then they just torpedo me into turn 1. But yeah, that's why I don't race anymore, because I get so frustrated when people torpedo me after I made a joke. Is it possible if we can see what tires everyone is on? Yes, of course, mate. So here we got some different tires. We've got mediums for Tashkern, so he's possibly going to come into the pits around lap 13, 14. Maybe he will stretch those mediums when there is a safety car, because this is the time where people tend to struggle on those old tires, old mediums, old hards. Gogs went on soft tires. Shaggy is on 5-lap old mediums. That will not be any difficulties for him, but they will struggle, especially around Singapore. People will go wide. You will have understeer due to dirty air, all that kind of stuff. We will be seeing a crash. Like this one. We have a crash already. An Alfa Romeo driver, Ferrari driver, I'm not 100% sure. But these crashes are going to be happening more often, and then you are able to stretch those mediums a little bit longer, trying to come into the pits, go onto the hard tires under the safety car. That would be the best strategy. For the guys on the hard tires, Alex Hogg now trying Matt G coming into the pits already. Medium tires, 10 lap old medium tires. You're giving up already. A little bit early in my opinion, but yeah, as I said, I don't fully understand racing drivers. It seems like the V-Car and Yaz are both coming into the pits. I'm not sure if this is going to be a double stack right now from the Ferrari team. Doesn't look like it. How many positions is Gaz going to lose? Not too many, because Ellie is coming into the pits too. And that is no positions lost for Gaz, so that is great for him. I feel like, you know, if the hard tire runners come into the pits already, I don't think they will be able to make the mediums last till the end of the race. Yeah, that is something you have to think about as a racing driver. But I'm not the racing driver. I'm the analyst and the commentator outside the racing wheels. I'm just chilling here in my room, watching. Oh, by the way, I've got a new sponsor, and oh, totally missed it. Oh, Shaggy goes deep. Well, that sounds bad. Shaggy goes deep. Oh, this is such an evening. Okay, back to racing. Well, I will tell you about my sponsor later, but I'm not sponsoring their product. I'm just able to use something which is gonna be cool for the stream. So, oh, Utkarsh making the overtake on Tashkern. Tashkern coming into the pits. Oh, wait. The guys all went on medium tires. I'm confused. Why the... What will Tashkern do? Will he be going for a two-stopper too? Two-stopper for Tashkern. So they will all be going for medium softs. That is very interesting. Ooh, to say the least. Oh my days. A two-stopper for Tashkern. How much... He has to make up for 22 seconds at least then. 20. I don't even know how long a pit strategy takes around Singapore, but... Well, let's go back to Calvin Racing, who was on the 12 lap old hards. That is a strategy I did not think of. A two-stopper. From the mediums to the softs. I think that is what Shaggy was trying to do too. Soft mediums. And Gogs is... Or is that Shaggy? That might be Shaggy. Why is he ghosted? No idea. Alright, Calvin Racing now coming down the straight into the last part of the track. He's still on the tail of Dan, and I think his tires will be done by about a lap 15 to 16. Simply because he had so many dirty air at this point of the race. He's been 14 laps behind Energy Dan for less than... Oh, tried to make the move there. Didn't quite go for it. But he's been within 1 second of Energy Dan for 14 laps straight. That is not fair to your tires. And I know why Shaggy is ghosted, by the way. I think he's ghosted because he's been lapped. Calvin Racing now on the tail, goes around the outside of Energy Dan, makes the overtake work. They're having a little bit of contact. Calvin Racing gives back the position, as I think he should give that position due to the game giving him that warning, because he went off track there a little bit and he made the overtake. From my experience, the medium tires are similar with tire wear, but quicker with pace than the hards. That is very interesting. I wouldn't say so, if I'm being honest. MDJ. I wouldn't say so, but agree to disagree. That is a fair statement. Calvin Racing now still on the tail of Energy Dan. We will be seeing people go from hard to mediums, won't we? So it doesn't make sense that people will go for medium softs then, because they can even go for medium hards if medium hards if the tire is the same pace. No, the tire isn't the same pace, they're just similar wear. Doesn't make sense to me. Tushkern has made the overtake on Cassidy. We totally missed that. Now we want to have a quick look with Calvin Racing on the tail of Energy Dan again. Is Energy Dan gonna fail under pressure? It's not looking like it. Calvin Racing with a little bit of wheel spin. Coming through turn 4. With the DRS, he might have been able to make the overtake again, but he was not close enough. He is going to have the DRS, but it's not going to be an overtaking opportunity for the English driver. Now coming past turn 6 into turn 7. And then we've got turn 8, a fast left-hander. Watch out for the curb and the wall on the exit. And it seems like Tushkern has already made up a gap of about 1.9 seconds to Cassidy. Cassidy who's still on old hard tires. He had a spin unfortunately, so he wants to try and extend those hards for as long as possible to try and come into the pits when there would be a safety car, but I don't think there will be a safety car anytime soon, unless the guys on the hard start to struggle. I do think that's going to be happening, but I don't think that this division is going to make that mistake. They're experienced, they're fast, even though it's the lowest division of the league, because they only have 2 divisions. There's still some experienced drivers. Tushkern now making the overtake on MCFC down the straight. As it seems like he had a good exit coming through turn 12. MCFC struggling on those hard tires. And now let's have a quick look with Mr. Wiggles as he's catching up to Alex Hawk. And what I was saying before, scrap that, because Mr. Wiggles seems to have found a space here tonight. As he's currently in P6, is going to drop a couple of positions. Because the guys who were behind him and in front of him already came into the pits. They're going to be on faster tires. It's going to be hard to tell where he's going to end up in. MCFC coming into the pits, possibly going onto the medium tires already. As it seems like Calvin Racing around the outside, then almost going into the side of the Red Bull driver, but he gave enough room to Calvin. And here comes Energy Dan on the tail of the Red Bull driver. It's not going to be enough. DRS wide open. Will it be enough this time around? Doesn't look like it. Energy Dan has to patiently wait. And that is another opportunity lost for the AlphaTauri driver. Although, I mean, look at Utkarsh. He's gaining some pace to these guys. He's definitely going to get within the DRS within a couple of laps. 1.4 seconds for the Indian driver at the moment. And how long is it going to take for Tushkern to make the overtake on Mr. Wiggles? If Mr. Wiggles doesn't come into the pits though. Oh, and we've got our first pit stop on the hard tires. That is going to be Calvin Racing. Didn't want to make the undercut. Well, is going to make the undercut right now, but try to avoid an undercut from Energy Dan. Because if Energy Dan were to come into the pits and, you know, Calvin Racing would already have passed the pit entry. So he wouldn't have been able to come into the pits. And the undercut around Singapore is strong, guys. It's magnificent. If you ever want to make an undercut around Singapore, do it, because it's crazy how good an undercut is around Singapore. You're able to create a 1 or a 2 second gap in only 1 lap, which is quite crazy if you ask me. Seems like the Red Bull driver, no, that is the V car on the tail of Cassidy. It seems like he's got some pace and not too many penalties yet, as I do see a Gas getting a 3-second time penalty at the moment. The V car making the overtake on Cassidy with the use of DRS. 5 Red Bull mediums. I mean, it's what we thought. Cassidy's still trying to extend those hard tires. Still there is a safety car, but I think I need to disappoint him. There's not going to be a safety car anytime soon. Utkarsh not being able to catch up to Energy Dan at this point of the race. 1.5 seconds. He was about 1.3 seconds behind Energy Dan a couple of laps ago. So Energy Dan is actually gaining some time, about a 10th a lap. And it doesn't look like anyone is within the DRS detection point. We will be seeing those fast mediums come into play later during this lap, or maybe next lap. We might be seeing Calvin Racing already making the overtake on his teammate. There goes Cassidy. Very interesting. Safety car? I'm not too sure. I think he... What did he do there? I think he came in... what? I'm so confused, guys. Mindful Wasp didn't come into the pits. Oh, Mindful Wasp did not come into the pits, but there's no safety car anyway. I think Cassidy was just trying to make some room for his teammate and he accidentally went into the wall. Does that make sense? Cass? Is he going to be in front of... Oh, Utgars finds himself behind Cass. That is very unfortunate. Yeah, that was very odd. I was looking at it. I was like, what has happened here? Because I was looking at Calvin Racing, and all of a sudden, I see a guy with no front wheel just slide all over the place. I was like, what the hell is happening there? Oh, Utkarsh. Come on, mate. I have no idea, Smoke. I have literally no idea. There should have been a safety car because that car was parked on the racing line. And I have no idea. This algorithm of this, you know, it's not really an algorithm, but this programming of this game doesn't make too much sense. Utkarsh now again on the tail of Cass. The Williams driver about 5 tenths behind the Ferrari driver. Here he comes. He has the DRS opportunity, but, you know, as I said already, through that part of the track, DRS has no benefit. It's just as simple as that. I think Shaggy made a mistake. Here comes MCFC. No, it's Utkarsh. Utkarsh is probably, I think, well, Smoke, I don't think that is the case, because what reduced safety car does is... Oh, wait, hold up. Utkarsh down the inside of Cass. Is he going to make the overtake? Yes, indeed he is. He's going to push the Ferrari driver a little bit wide, but no, not too much contact. So, yes, the safety car is on reduced, but what safety car reduced does... Well, I've heard that from other people. What safety car reduced does is it just reduces the amount of safety cars that are going to be there. It's not going to reduce the chances of having a safety car. It's just going to reduce the amount of safety cars that's going to be there. So I think the limit is 5 on reduced. I think the limit on standard is 7, and I think the limit on what is above standard, improved, I don't know, much safety cars, it's going to be like 10, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. But we just saw Calvin Racing made the overtake on the V car. And the V car, actually a very good comeback race. Let's have a quick look with the position changes. 6 positions gained. Once again, Tushkern is the biggest winner as of right now. 4 positions, well, not really the biggest winner, as that is Gas. But he's in P2, so he managed to get a good result out of his position gain win. 1. My English is so bad today. 11 more laps to go though, so we will be having a splendid 11 more laps. Calvin Racing with a 133.3 has the fastest lap as of right now. But that's also with the use of DRS. A Mindful Wasp will end up behind the V car. Oh, will end up behind his teammate. Energy Dan, this is the undercut that I'm talking about, guys. Energy Dan was 3 seconds behind Mindful Wasp, and look at where he's now. He's in front of his teammate. And Utkarsh is on the neck of a Mindful Wasp. He's on his ass, he's on his tail, he's on everything. Here he comes. The air is wide open. Mindful Wasp does have pressure tires, so I don't think it should be a problem. But will Energy Dan work together with Mindful Wasp? I think Mindful Wasp, all he has to do right now is keep Utkarsh behind him and try to give Energy Dan his first race win of the season. Because Energy Dan, if he wins this race, he will be... I mean, I don't think no one won 6 or 7 safety cars in one race, just reduces fair. That is totally fair, DJ. The most safety cars I've ever had was 6. Absolute horror, mate. Absolute horror. That was the worst. MCFC making the overtake on Ellie, apparently. As that is going to be coming through turn 8. Well, down the straight, coming out of turn 8. And now it's going to be a 3-way battle for P5. The V car will have to come into the pits, I'm afraid. Here comes Energy Dan on the tail of the V car, as it's a 4-way battle now for P4. Yellow flags in sector 2. MCFC has crashed out, probably in the wall, probably with a broken front wing. A lot of curb taken there from Mindful Wasp. That's usually a little bit risky coming through that part of the track because, you know, you don't have much grip coming through that corner, and it's just such a hard challenge. Did Utkarsh push Mindful Wasp deep there? I'm not sure because it looked like Mindful Wasp was just going very, very deep there. I'm not sure. DRS usage, and the V-car is gonna let everyone go through. Look at that. Some beautiful racing from the V-car. He's gonna let both the... I think he wanted to let Utkarsh go through too, but... yeah, he does. Nice racing, the V-car. Beautiful sportsmanship. I mean, Utkarsh did lose about 5/10 now, so... Has some ground to make up for. But he's made that up for already. Look at that, 4/10 behind Energy Dan. Mindful Wasp made the overtake on Energy Dan apparently, so... Unfortunately, it's not going to be Energy Dan taking his first race win. It might be Tashkern though. Look at those tires. 8-lap old mediums. Will he be pulling those off till the end of the race? MDJ in the chat says red flag is on as well, but there's not been a huge crash to make it happen. Oh, what is Utkarsh doing, mate? Oh, he pushed Energy Dan wide. Oh my days, that was the biggest dive bomb I've ever seen. A Torpedo 2.0. Oh my days, Utkarsh. What was that, mate? I think he just missed his breaking point. That was ambitious, but I quite like it. Luckily, there's no damage, though. There's a blue flag for someone. That might be... Oh, Energy Dan making the overtake on the Mad G. Totally missed that once again. Now Utkarsh is the one trying to make the overtake on the Ferrari driver. Mad G with a little bit of a slip. As Utkarsh is now making the overtake. 4-lap old mediums compared to 10-lap old mediums. I don't think that would be a hard job for the Indian driver. But now there is a 1.1 second gap from Energy Dan to Mindful Wasp and a 5/10 gap from Utkarsh to Energy Dan. So we will be seeing a two-way battle for P4, possibly for P5, for P3. Wait, how did Calvin Racing manage to get in P2? He even has a 4-second gap. What is that? Calvin Racing? We totally missed that. How did he manage to get in P2? He even is going to get in P1 pretty soon because those tires of Tashkern are giving up already. 9 laps still to go, so he'll have to be on 18-lap old mediums. He will have to come into the pits to go onto soft tires ASAP. Well, not yet, because those softs won't make the end of the race, but everyone seems to be outside the 1 second of each other, except for Alex. He's on the tail of the Alfa Romeo driver. Always goes into the wall there, plays around with the track limits. Beautifully done, actually, by Alex Hogg. He's just, you know, 4-lap old mediums. He might be able to pull those off until the end of the race. The guys in front of him on the medium tires, on 10-lap old medium tires, will still have to come into the pits. Oh, someone is coming into the pits, isn't he? Yes, that is... Yes! He's the first one on the old mediums coming into the pits. It's gonna go on the soft tires already, I can assume that. Yes, indeed he does. Now Utkarsh is catching up. Yellow flag, and that is gonna be a virtual safety car. Virtual safety car enabled. As I think that must have been the Mercedes driver. Might have been Shaggy. And Ellie is now coming into the pits. She's gonna go on soft tires. Full safety car has not been deployed yet, so we will not be having a full safety car. It would have been great though, everyone coming into the pits, everyone on fresh softs, everyone having a battle with each other. The top 9 doesn't have a single penalty, so that would be great for battling. But nothing can be further from the truth. There is no safety car to be deployed. Well, the virtual safety car is, but no full safety car. As I'm gonna take the opportunity to drink a little bit. I do need to go to the toilet. Really bad. According to MDJ, Tashkern is gonna try to stay out as long as possible. And maybe try to go till the end of the race. Tashkern did not come into the pits, so... 8 more laps. I don't see that happening, guys. I don't see that happening. Shaggy! Did he crash out? Oh no, he retired in the pit lane. Never mind. 3-second time penalty for MCFC. Now we have to take a better look at the soft tire runners, guys, because Yaz is about 21 seconds behind. He's not gonna gain that much time. And Calvin Racing gained about 2 seconds in the last 3 laps. So if you continue that line, that streak, he would be catching Tushkern in about 2 to 3 laps. Coming through sector 1, he has gained about 3/10, so I think it's about 1 second a lap. He's definitely going to be faster through sector 2 because it's a very technical sector, especially through this part of the track. Turn 9, turn 10, turn 11, turn 12. As you can see, he gained 3/10, he gained 4/10 even. And coming through 12, he's even going to gain some more with a little bit of wheel spin that Tushkern probably had on those old mediums. Mindful Wasp is now also catching to Calvin Racing, who's on 7-lap-old mediums. So the difference between the tires in tire life is definitely very big. You know, 7-lap-old mediums compared to 11-lap-old mediums, they're way faster. But then the medium tires of Mindful Wasp, 4-lap-old mediums, are way faster than the 7-lap-old medium tires of Calvin Racing, which means they're way, way, way faster than the 11-lap-old mediums of Tushkern. So, oh, Tushkern coming into the pits, different strategy, goes onto the soft tires, so y'all in the chat are wrong. No, just kidding with you guys. He might be able to pull it off. You never know. Depends on who he's going to be behind, and it's going to be by quite a few. You know, he's going to be behind Mr. Wheat. Nah, he's not going to pull it off. He's not going to gain 20 seconds in 6 laps. There's no way. There is no way. Alex Hogg has managed to catch up to Mr. Wheels quite well, though. MDJ in the chat was wrong. He admits it. At least you admit it, MDJ, which is nice, which is great. Mindful Wasp now on the tail of Calvin Racing. He's caught up. He is caught up. He's caught up. So, yeah, I don't know, Smoke, but I think his tires were gone. Medium tires around Singapore don't last 18 laps. That's just reality. You have to face reality. Otherwise, you're gonna have a puncture, and that's not great around Singapore. So here comes Mindful Wasp on the tail of Calvin Racing, and he's got such a good strategy. He's perfected his strategy. Calvin Racing had such a big lead, about, you know, I don't know how many seconds, 5, 6 maybe, and that lead has dropped to 3/10. So Mindful Wasp, all props to him. 5-lap-old mediums, and he's gonna win this race by a mile. By a mile. Look at that. Mindful Wasp, 3/10 behind Calvin Racing. He doesn't even need to make the move anywhere soon. He just needs to keep it behind Calvin Racing and make the final bang at the last lap, at the second last lap. I don't care, but he's gonna make that overtake pretty soon. Well, he has to. Alex Hawk also on the tail of Mr. Wiggles. And here comes Mindful Wasp already with the use of DRS. He's not gonna go for it. Goes onto the curb. Maggie with the fastest lap now, 132.2. Maybe they wanted that extra point. I don't know. Here comes Alex Hawk. Tushkern about 5 seconds behind the Norwegian driver. This Alex Hawk has a little bit of an awkward line coming through that corner. Mindful Wasp now will have the benefit through this part of the track, like we said before, between Calvin Racing and Tushkern. Although Calvin Racing seems to be very rapid around this part of the track, so I don't think those medium tires of Mindful Wasp will give him any benefit through that part of the track, because look at that, how many time Calvin Racing has gained through that part of the track. Now, coming through that corner, it was quite sketchy from Calvin Racing. It will be a DRS opportunity for a Mindful Wasp. No, it won't be a DRS opportunity, just an ERS opportunity. How much ERS has he saved? About 50%. How much does Calvin Racing have? About the same. Going through the last corner of the track into lap 27 out of the 31. And they will be having a heated battle for 4 more laps. Mindful Wasp just needs to keep it clean and don't make any mistakes. And don't rush anything. Energy Dan is also catching up. 2.2 seconds right now. And Alex Hawk on the tail of Mr. Wheels too. So we've got a three-way battle for the lead of the race. Well, if Energy Dan manages to catch up. Alex Hawk with a little mistake there. A little bit of wheel spin. And that is going to cost him some tenths. Also the V-car on the tail of the Ferrari driver. The V-car has some good pace. I mean, I'm not sure if he's running medium traction again. Well, still. Or if he switched back to full traction right now. But he's got some pace, guys. I do have to admit that. The lead of the race has been unchanged. So we're going through turn 12 again for the 27th time during this Grand Prix. And Calvin Racing now on the tail of, well, Mindful Wasp on the tail of Calvin Racing. It's been a long day, guys. My apologies. Yeah, this is the opportunity for Mindful Wasp. He's not using any ERS. I think he'll do it down the main straight, down the DRS straight, down the start-finish straight. But he needs a good exit coming through that right-left hander. And look at this, how much time he loses coming through that last part of the track. He's 4 tenths away again, and he's taking an interesting line coming through turn 1. He's possibly going to lose some time again. Here he comes. Mindful Wasp on the tail of Calvin Racing. According to MDJ, Energy Dan is going to do a double overtake at the end of the race. But we are looking at a... You know, this reminds me of that Grand Prix we had last year. You know, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, George Russell. It's a three-way battle for the lead of the race. Also, Utgars is catching up to these two. Tushkar now has made the overtake with the use of DRS. According to Smokes, it is unlikely, so Energy Dan, prove them wrong, please. But Tushkar... Can I say something? Can I say something? In 3 laps, Tushkar has gained 20 seconds to Utkarsh. 20 seconds, what am I saying? 10 seconds to Utkarsh. If he can keep up that pace, he might be up for a P3. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. 2 tenths for Mindful Wasp. It's just not happening, guys. And by the way, sorry that I'm moving all across my room, but I really need to pee. And it's 2 more laps, 3 more laps, so we just need to patiently wait. Oh, look at that exit from Mindful Wasp. He's gonna make the overtake. Around the outside he goes. Here comes Mindful Wasp. Why do we have this ass corner? Fuck this camera, mate. Oh, man. Why did he look at the... Oh, man. I didn't do that, by the way. That the game did. That the game did. Here comes Mindful Wasp on the tail of the Red Bull driver again and again and again. And he will try until the move has been made. Down the inside he goes. Almost goes into the back of Calvin Racing, but they leave enough room for each other. Calvin Racing does go off track. Down the inside he goes. Mindful Wasp almost goes into the wall, but he makes the overtake on Calvin Racing. Whew. And Energy Dan is caught up. Here comes Energy Dan. Yes, 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 yes. Skibbity deep bum bum bum. Yes, yes, yes. Is he gonna make the overtake? Energy Dan. Oh, this would be great. An AlphaTauri 1-2. We might be seeing a penalty for Mindful Wasp for making that dive bomb though, but that will be for later. Nah, his tires will be dead before he gets there. No, they're not, because he's 5 tenths behind Calvin Racing right now, and he might be able to make the overtake. They're 1 lap fresher than the Red Bull driver's tires. Mansell has caught up to P12 though. A little unfortunate, I do have to say that. You know, his early crash, he could have definitely battled with the top guys here. Tushkar, and he's not going to be able to make the overtake. My apologies, guys. I thought he was going to be able to get into the top 3, but he's just a little too slow at this point. Energy Dan. It'll have to happen down the straight if he wants to get a chance for the race win. And will it be his first race win, though? Will it be his first race win? Here he comes, coming around turn 4. Down the straight he goes. He's not close enough. DRS, even Calvin Racing even has the DRS, so... Oh, wait. He has straight line speed. Here comes Energy Dan around the outside. Oh, he goes for a dive bomb. He goes for a dive bomb. What a dive bomb, guys. Oh, my days. He did push Calvin Racing a little bit wide. That might be a penalty, though. That might be a penalty. Oh, he's giving back the position. Beautiful sportsmanship from Energy Dan there. But he just gained some tense through there. And Utkarsh now is caught up. It's a three-way battle for P2. Mindful Wasp will be winning this race. As of right now, 2 seconds of a gap. And Calvin Racing, I think Energy Dan might have done this with some, you know... He might have thought, if I make a dive bomb, give back the position, we lose a lot of time to Mindful Wasp. Here he comes around the outside. Does Calvin Racing leave enough room? No, he doesn't. That looked quite sketchy there. And now Utkarsh is trying to make the overtake. Medium tires enabled as he will be going down the inside. Oh, that will definitely be a penalty. Wouldn't it? I don't know. I think Energy Dan just turned into him. We're going into the last lap of the race. Calvin Racing 4 tenths in front of Energy Dan. Smoke, watch that through my fingers. Here, Tashkern also on the tail of his teammate. Utkarsh will let him go through. Some beautiful sportsmanship there from Utkarsh, who has broken his front wing. Energy Dan has one more opportunity. Will he make another dive bomb? Oh, yes, he will. Oh, yes, he will. Here he comes. Does the same thing. But he makes the overtake, though, without any contact. So, can we claim that valid? We can claim that valid. Makes the overtake into P2. And I don't think Calvin Racing will be able to get that move back. Because we're entering the hard part of the track where you're not able to make the overtake. And we've got... How many ERS do they have left? Ooh, they've got a bit of the same ERS. Yeah, look at where Mindful Wasp is already. 4 seconds of a lead. Perhaps Tashkern will still get P3 because of penalties. Ooh, oh, wait, yeah, that's true. I mean, 5 seconds? Let's say Energy Dan gets a 5-second time penalty. Tashkern will still not be close enough, though. So I also think Tashkern has stopped pushing. Alex Hogg is still on the tail of Utkarsh. This will be a battle for a P5. As Mindful Wasp is coming around the last corner to grab his P2. Energy Dan in P3. We're just going to have a quick look at this battle. Utkarsh is going to let Alex Hogg go through. Beautifully done by Utkarsh. He acknowledged that he was the slower car there and just gave him the position. Mr. Wiggle. Oh, Alex Hogg had a penalty anyway. Look at that. So Utkarsh still in P5. Might be getting P4, depending on penalties. Now we've got the V car making the overtake on gas due to penalties. And then we have got the back markers. Ellie in P11 and Mansell in P12. Had a very unfortunate race, I do have to say that. Yeah, last lap madness, mate. I don't know what happened here, but it was just... Whew. No idea what happened. Just too many crashes, too many incidents. Energy Dan, who made a dive bomb like it was yogurt. And then we've got MCFC in P13. Also didn't have the race he quite wanted. 25 seconds behind. Did everyone finish already? No, Mansell still coming around the last part of the track. Worst case, Dan gets 5 seconds, right? And although, maybe 5 seconds for Calvin Racing and 5 seconds for spinning out Utkarsh. That would be 10 seconds. And that will place him in P4. That could be the case. I'm not sure. I'm no steward. Well, not in this league. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Driver of the day is going to be Calvin Racing, though. As I want to remove my camera real quick for you guys, so you guys can see the standings, which is also very important. Your race winner is going to be Mindful Wasp. He grabbed the pole, he grabbed the podium, and he grabbed the P1 on the podium. Yeah, great race. I do have to say that. Energy Dan went from P3 to P2. Might or might not see a penalty. Calvin Racing from P5 to P3 had a great race. I do have to say that. Tashkern went from P6 to P4. And we've got Utkarsh in P5, came from P7 further. We've got Mr. Wiggles, Alex Hawk, Magi, the V-Car, and Yes in the top 10. And then we've got Ellie, Mansell, MCFC, and Gogs, who have not DNF'd. And we've got Mark Werty, I think, DNF'd, Shaggy 2, and Cassidy 2. No, Mark Werty apparently didn't DNF. So good job finishing the race, Mark. I'm pretty proud of you. Fastest lap goes to Matt G. And that will be the end of the live stream. So guys, I thank you very much for watching the live stream. I hope you guys liked it as much as I did. I'm just gonna check how much pixels I can watch this live stream at, because I enabled that it was gonna be 180 pixels. Well, 1920, then 180. Well, 1080 pixels. And I was watching the live stream earlier, and I saw it was at 480 pixels. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So I'll try to get that sorted. I will see you guys next week, and hopefully it has been resolved. Guys, thank you very much for watching the live stream. If you haven't followed the Speed Force Racing League YouTube channel yet, make sure to do so. You can also find my socials underneath. It is a VB Thomas with a double S. I'm active on Twitch, YouTube, and that's about it. I've put Twitch on, TikTok on there. I don't even have TikTok, but I've got an account. So, you know, just follow me there too if you haven't already. And also follow Speed Force Racing, of course. I will see you guys next week. Make sure to give a thumbs up if you liked the video. Oh, it's at 1080? Yes, come on. Yes, yes. Okay, that's great. Okay, guys, I'll see you next week. Peace out.
No, it's not a Benz, it's a Starship.